Welcome back to DSS Major Case Files. Today, we will be featuring a story of how the Diplomatic Security Service took down an international sex trafficker. This story focuses on Damion St. Baston, a Jamaican nightclub dancer, music producer, and self-described entrepreneur. He was also a sex trafficker who forced women into being high-end prostitutes. In the late 1990s, U.S. courts ordered Baston to be removed from the United States after his conviction for an aggravated felony. However, Baston did not want to leave, so he stole the identity of an American citizen and used it to obtain a Florida driver's license and U.S. passport in that person's name. Baston used this false identity for international travel, during which he recruited and victimized women. Court documents show that beginning as early as 2009, Baston victimized at least 7 women. He kept the hundreds of thousands of dollars they made as prostitutes and then showed off the cash with photos of his $250,000 bank balance and $75,000 diamond-studded watch. His victims would meet him for the first time at bars, restaurants, or parties, and a relationship would blossom. Baston has been painted as a charismatic, imposing manipulator who showered women with expensive gifts and told them he loved them to lure them into his world. But Baston would use violence to force the women into prostitution. The women he manipulated saw no way to escape the situation. Thankfully, one day, a victim's aunt contacted the U.S. Embassy in Canberra and voiced concerns about her niece being trafficked. She connected with the DSS regional security officer and a DSS investigation began. A team of agents traveled to Australia to collect evidence and interview witnesses and victims. They worked with DSS colleagues in Australia and Europe to track down key details for the case. The relationship between the DSS regional security officer in Sydney and the Australian Federal Police was pivotal. The case progressed only after information sharing and collaboration between the two began. Throughout the investigation, the DSS Miami field office provided critical analytical support. DSS sifted through Baston's hard drives and computers to gather more information. Eventually, agents found enough to warrant a search warrant. In December 2013, DSS arrested Baston, who was carrying a fraudulently obtained passport and other key pieces of evidence. In 2014, Baston was put on trial in Miami. It was the first time the extraterritorial jurisdiction provision of anti-trafficking laws were used. This meant that the prosecution could charge Baston with trafficking crimes he committed overseas, regardless of his nationality. According to court documents, he punched, slapped, choked, and threatened to kill his victims whenever they got, quote, out of line. After a 2-week trial, a jury took only 6 hours to find Baston guilty of 21 charges. July 1st, 2014, the courts convicted Baston of transporting multiple individuals for prostitution, importation of an alien for prostitution, aggravated identity theft, and money laundering. He was also found guilty of sex trafficking through means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion, both in the Southern District of Florida and in multiple countries around the world, including Australia. He was sentenced to 27 years in prison, followed by a lifetime supervised release. Through working with regional and international partners, DSS was able to put an international sex trafficker behind bars. With the largest global footprint of any law enforcement agency, the Diplomatic Security Service uses its global presence to detect and solve crimes around the world. In this case, DSS used its abilities to stop international sex trafficking. If you see something suspicious or suspect someone is in danger of being trafficked, call the National Human Trafficking Hotline. Email traffickingtips@state.gov for more information. And that is how DSS put a violent sex trafficker behind bars. For more information, visit our website or follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter